Hello class, this is Ferras, and as some of you guys may remember from my introduction video, I coach high school football at Canton High School. So today I'm going to teach you guys some of the fundamentals of playing one of the positions I coach, which is corner. I'm going to teach you guys how to play like Josh Norman, who plays for the Washington Redskins, or Richard Sherman, who plays for the Seattle Seahawks. Those guys are the two best corners in the league right now. So I'm going to give you guys some of the fundamental basics of how to play that position. The first thing I'm going to show you guys is how to get into our stance, because in football it doesn't matter what position you play. Everything that you do is determined based on how good you start off, and where you start is your stance. Next thing is I'm going to show you guys how to backpedal. Backpedaling as a corner is how we mirror receivers' routes and get in phase or in good positions to break up on routes and either deflect those routes or get interceptions. And the last thing I'm going to teach you guys is how to catch a football, because when the ball's up in the air, we as corners end up becoming like receivers, going up for the ball, trying to catch it and get interceptions for our team and get the ball back for our offense. So for the first thing I'm going to teach you guys is our stance, and how we align is, it depends on what coverage we play, but at Canton we always want to align inside eye of the receiver. And what that means is we are going to line up inside relative to the quarterback. So if the quarterback was to my right over here, and the receiver is right where you guys are standing, where I'm pointing my two fingers, I want to line up inside of him. And the reason why we want to do this is for a quarterback, it's much easier to complete a pass inside and into the middle than it is to outside. So as the defender, we want to make the quarterback and the receiver do the hardest thing, and that's to go outside. So if we line up inside of him, he ends up running a route inside, he runs right into us. So we're in a better position to play those routes. If he goes outside, that's perfect. The quarterback now has to throw the ball wide and very long, which gives us more time to locate the ball in the air and go up and get an interception. So we always want to line up inside eye. So if the quarterback was over there to the left now, we just line up inside eye over here. Once we line up either inside or outside eye, we always want to have our outside foot up. When receivers line up, they line up with their inside up first. So what we have to do is mirror that. So they have their inside foot up, so we'll have our outside foot up. So if the quarterback is to the right over there, I'm going to line up inside eye of the receiver, who's right here where my hand is, and I'll have my left foot up. Once we figure that out, we then need to get into our stance. And the way that we do it is we bend at our knees, and then a little bit at our waist, and we get low. So right here, we want to be in a good low position. I have power angles in my legs, which allows me to be explosive. I have my left foot up, I'm lined up inside eye, and when I'm low like this, we want to do something called show the ground your numbers. When you guys watch high school football, college football, NFL, they always have numbers on the front of their jerseys. So if you are low and you're showing the ground your numbers, that means you're always going to be in a low stance. Once we get all of this down, then we can move on to our most basic technique, and that's a backpedal. Receivers run straight at us. So we don't want to run straight away back over here, because if we run in the same direction that they're running, we won't see when they're breaking on routes or when quarterbacks are throwing the passes. So we need to be able to backpedal and mirror their routes while still being able to break up and see what's going on with the quarterback. So we backpedal. This is a very difficult thing to do because you have to stay low and you don't know where the receiver is going to go, but the receiver knows where he's going to go. So automatically from the very beginning, before the play even happens, they have an advantage over us. So if our back pedals are perfect, that gives us the best chance that we can to play this position. It's a very hard position to play, and it's mostly for that reason. You just kind of got to do what you got to do and react as fast as you possibly can. So we're going to get into our stance. We're going to say the quarterback is over there to the right, the receiver's over here, so I'm lined up inside eye of him. I have my left foot up. So what we want to do is, in our stance, we want to have a lot of our weight on our front foot. Then, once we get low, we're showing the ground our numbers. Our first step is always going to be with our back foot. We want to go here. What we don't want to do is bring this back foot up to then take another step back. That's called false stepping. When you false step, you're just wasting steps. So we always want to go back with our back foot first. Once we go there, we want to stay on our toes. The reason why we want to stay on our toes when we're backpedaling is if you get on your heels, right there I was low and I was able to backpedal. Once you get on your heels, you rise up and all of your balance goes backwards, up on your heels, and then now you're not low anymore and you're going to fall over. And that gives the receiver a very easy catch and get into the end zone. So we always want to stay low and we always want to stay on our toes. And as you can see, my head isn't really bobbing up and down. Because we started low in our stance, we want to finish and be low. We want to be low and stay low. Low, being low in any type of position in football will always win. Low man will always win. You'll hear 1,000 coaches always tell you that, and it's the same when you're playing corner. So here, left foot is up, our back foot is our right foot. So we're going to take most of our weight, put it on our front foot, and we're going to push off and take our first step with our back foot. We're not going to bring the back foot up to take a step back. We're here, boom, now we're low and we're on our toes. And we're going to try not to run into the garage door. The last thing I'm going to show you guys is how to catch a football. This is really important for playing corner because we're mirroring receivers' routes. And if we go up and catch the football while it's in the air and the receiver doesn't, it's called an interception and it's a turnover, which means now our offense can go on the field and try to score touchdowns and get us points to win the football game. So, a lot of times with our freshmen, we'll see they like to do some crazy things when they try to catch a football. One of my favorites is the gator clap. They'll try to do like the Florida gator clap here, or they'll kind of go side to side like that. And that's really not good because you don't really have a whole lot of surface area with your hands on the football to catch it. So we teach what's called a diamond technique. You make a diamond with your 2 index fingers and your thumbs. And what happens is the point of the football will go perfectly into that diamond, and then the rest of your hand will almost naturally collapse over the football, giving you the most surface area over the football. So to show you how it would look like from my end, it's like this. So I'm catching the ball here, the point is going through the diamond, and then the rest of my hands wrap around it. What we always want to do when we catch a football is we want to catch it with our eyes. What I mean by that is as the ball's coming in, you want to look the football in before you tuck it. A lot of times what kids do, they'll go to catch it and they'll use this right technique, but their eyes will be, over here, and then they end up dropping it because they're not focusing on the football. So we always want to catch the football with our eyes, then with our hands and tuck it in. So those are some of the most basic fundamentals of playing corner. If you don't remember anything from this video, but stay low and be low, then that's pretty much 50% of the battle. After that, don't rise up in your back pedal and catch the ball with your eyes. You do that, and you maybe won't play like Josh Norman or Richard Sherman, but they'll put you ahead of a lot of other people. And if you ever play flag football with your friends, and you can now go line up and